All right, and we're back with more Social Media Cowboys podcast. I am Chris Hoke.
I'm DJ Hunter.
All
And
right.
I'm Emily Stambaugh.
All right, and who are you with, Emily Stambaugh?
I'm with Right at Home, Central Texas.
Now, I know about Right at Home because I know you, and I've known others from Right at Home. So tell the fine folks listening what y'all do.
Right at Home is we provide non-medical home care and personal care, 24/7 caregiver service.
It's
And
not
we work
hospice. It's not hospice.
not hospice, no.
And it's not the nurse that comes to your house thing, whatever that's called.
No, it's completely non-medical, so
Right.
we help with like bathing, grooming, dressing, meal preparation, light housekeeping, transportation, things like that. And we're 24/7, so we can be there at the most critical times that your loved one needs help.
So, but being non-medical, don't y'all like do some things like that, even like completely just for like fun? Like, don't y'all like take them to the movies and shopping and stuff if they
We can
want?
take them out to outings and take them out to eat. I mean, of course, when everything was a lot more
Well, yeah,
normal.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Shelter in place aside, y'all do like some like I've known people that I've heard y'all service talked about y'all take them to their hair appointments and things like that.
oh yeah, we'll take them to their, pedicure appointments, hair appointments, take them to church,
Sure. Wow.
help them take their pets to the vet, things like that.
Wow. So
Yeah.
but your workers are all like trained professionals to help them. I'm assuming y'all probably have some sort of training, so in case a medical emergency arises, they know
Oh
how to
yeah,
deal with
so
it.
we do like orientation training, and then we do quarterly trainings with our current caregivers. And then, of course, some of our caregivers also have been CNAs or still currently have their CNA, so they have that experience as well. Because we're non-medical, we don't necessarily require CNA,
Mm-hmm.
but like our supervisors and lead caregivers, they're CNAs.
Okay.
Because it's nice to have that experience where, as a lead supervisor or a lead caregiver, you kind of have to be very adaptable and kind of be a jack of all trades in this industry, because you have to be adaptable to whatever client we send you to initially. So you have to be kind of prepared for everything.
So do these people like have their family not really like involved, or are they kind of alone, or is it just that the other family doesn't have time? Is it family you got anything to do with it? You're just helping them with what you can help with.
That's a great question. Honestly, in my time with the industry, now I've been in the Medicaid side of things with Medicaid agencies, and then now with Right at Home,
Mm-hmm.
the private side of it. Every family dynamic is different. We deal with all different types of family dynamics. Sometimes you have that family member that's always there. They're like the medical power of attorney. They're, power of attorney over the finances as well. And then you have the family that's just completely absent, whether it's because they're in town and they just don't care, or they
Mm.
live like in Dallas or Austin, or sometimes they're completely out of state.
Yeah.
Then you have the families that live in town, and I mean, sad to say, they're not there, they're not present. They make the decisions for their loved one, but they rather hire us to be there for them instead of them, which sounds pretty bad, but
Well, no,
you
I
know,
mean, in some cases, I'm sure it is bad. I mean, I'm sure there's some. I mean, there's a jerk. Somebody who's being a jerk in every situation, but I can attest through taking care of Trish that there are certain things if somebody else could do, it would relieve the burden. So it's not always. I mean, I'm sure there are. Like I said, there's always people who are just jerks, but I'm sure there are people that just they're a caregiver. They just need help.
right.
That's like
And we see that a lot, where the primary caregiver just needs a little,
yeah,
they just need us once or twice a week so they can get that rest, or so that they can get out of the house and run their errands without having, knowing that their loved one is going to be safe at home,
right.
or whatever the case. Or maybe they just want the caregiver to tag along with them so that they have that help throughout the day. But we see all different types of family dynamics, and it's just everyone's different. Every family's different, every client is different, everybody's needs are different. So
What's the most common thing they want from y'all? Like, I bet you like there's one thing particular they want. What is it?
light housekeeping and transportation.
Those are the two biggest things.
hmm
Yeah,
Or help with a shower or bath.
yeah. The transportation one I can really attest to because being, Trisha's everything. I mean, she's gotten better now. I mean, she's way more self-sufficient now than she was when shelter in place started. But the hardest thing is the transportation aspect of it, because you're stuck. So you have other things you need to do, but while you're transporting them, there's nothing else you can do. So unless you can do it on your phone or something, you're screwed. And you have to just go with them on the... Like, she has to go to Dallas every once in a while. So on those Dallas days, there ain't nothing else I can do but drive her back and forth to Dallas and sit with her while she's there.
It's an all-day event.
It's an all-day event. And then around here, it's a little easier. But like every Monday morning, she does a blood draw. And so like this morning, got up too late. And didn't have time to shower. So I had to throw clothes, take her, and then come back. And then so like my whole day is pushed back. So like I got out of the shower like 10 minutes before this podcast started. And so if you had transportation help, that would make things a lot easier. That's like one of the biggest things for us was transportation help.
Yeah.
Hey, DJ, when your mom was sick, what was the biggest thing you went through? Because you were kind of her big caregiver then.
Probably the same thing, just going with her to stuff so she wouldn't be by herself.
Yeah.
Was the main thing. That and just and running any errands or whatever that she needed.
Yeah, it becomes a real burden. Like when if you're not used to going to the store, the Walmart, the grocery store or whatever, and then you have to for the whole family. And then you're probably like me, did you have to call her all the time? She wouldn't give you enough information about the product she wants. You have to call her to ask her which one. Did you have to do
No, she's good. She's good at writing it down. So.
Oh, exactly.
Or texting it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with Trish. She'll be like, "Hey, get me wheat thins," but there's like 38 different variations of wheat thins.
Yep.
So you get there, you're like, "Well, what salted, unsalted, ranch, garlic, butter? What?
Yep.
The hell am I supposed
to buy?"
So transportation and going to the store are the two big ones.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's just kind of, everyone needs different things. You go through different phases of life. You might be okay, and then something major happens, like a fall or a hospitalization, and, people underestimate how bad it knocks you down, and it just really depends.
Yeah. Do y'all get weird requests that you can talk about? Is there something weird you can tell us that they won't get in trouble to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, you see a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think anything's really weird. We might have to change a litter box, or take a dog out to walk, or.
Oh, that's dedication to do the litter box thing.
Take their animal out and stuff like that. And, a lot of our caregivers do. They love animals too, so they don't mind doing it. Yeah.
Well, that's a special person. I don't do litter boxes.
A special person. But that's why it's so important to match up people. That's what we try to do. We try to match people up based on your personality, based on the backgrounds that you have. So, we have one client, she used to be an educator, so she likes having she likes her caregivers a little bit younger because she's always interacted with kids. So I guess she just likes the young natured, spirit.
Yeah.
And then we have other people who prefer older people, for whatever reason, because they can relate to them maybe more, or maybe they're better cooks, or maybe they're more careful drivers, whatever their case is. So we take those details and preferences into account, and that's why it's so important when I go out and do the initial assessment, and I have to kind of pay attention to all those little details without asking too much information, but then I'm still getting the details out of them. But that's important to know those details so that we can match them up.
So chemistry, it's you got to find the right chemistry.
Yeah, because we don't want to set our caregivers for failure, and we don't want them to have a bad experience. So it's really important. Right. Sometimes we hit it right on the nail, and we send them the perfect match the first try.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a couple of times, It always helps when the clients want a consistent schedule, because then that helps us find, everyone's consistent. We can find someone who can consistently be there during those times.
Right.
So there's a lot of factors that go into finding the right match, and luckily our team is awesome, and they do such a good job of just knowing. They just pair people up so well.
Yeah. So I would imagine, so if somebody didn't have chemistry, you have enough people that you just find another person to slot in. Like, hey, you guys weren't a good fit. Let me just get this other person over there instead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes, and it takes a couple of follow-up visits, a few follow-up calls, and we're big on following up. We want to make sure we make a great match. So it's just, like you say, it's about the chemistry. We kind of go off of vibes, our intuition,
Yeah.
getting little details from, feedback from the caregiver, feedback from the client, feedback
Right.
from the client's family. Well, she kind of got irritated when this happened. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you, that's one of her biggest pet peeves. So sometimes it's just not knowing them well enough, and then we fix it. Or sometimes, we're not everybody's cup of tea. So we just got to, like you say, just
Right.
switch people around and be like, hey, let's try this person. She's a little bit more this or that. So I think that'll be a better match. And
Well, I know. Taking care of Trish, I'm more matter of fact, and I'm not very. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not soft and sweet. Like, I come in there and, like, here's your medicine. Let me change this. Let me do that, and I just knock it out like it's a job, like it's a punch list. I'm just knocking out tasks, and I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna be like, "Oh, you okay? You feeling good? I love you. Your hair is so pretty." I'm just not. I don't really. I'm just going there and just knock out chores, and then later
Yeah.
on, I'll be more lovey-dovey or whatever else. But when you're
Yeah.
doing the caregiving, I'm more like, so like I would have to be paired with somebody that didn't mind somebody coming there that's just knocking out chores.
And right now I'm thinking of a client who would like someone like you. And
Yeah.
we have a few of those. They just want people to go in, take care of business,
Yeah.
small talk here and there, hey, whatever, and then bounce. You're out. You're done for the day. I'll see you in a couple of days.
Right. Once the job's done, then you can be all like,
Yeah.
"Oh, your hair is pretty," or you look so good," that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you have the other clients who they just love the interaction. They love the engagement. They love those soft touches. So it's just, you got to really pay attention to people's soft skills. I think that's what it comes down to. Just what are people's soft skills? Because everybody can, well, not everybody, but people can, make breakfast or take out the trash or,
Right.
almost anybody could do stuff like that. But it's like the way you do it, the way you approach it, and you're going into people's houses. It's their private, house. It's their
Yeah.
zone, it's their space.
Right.
So you just have to be very respectful about their house, and like everyone has their own little house rules, and you just kind of have to be. So caregivers, they have a really tough job because they have to go into somebody's house and they're strangers, and then they have to learn where everything's at, their pantry, their refrigerator, how they like things done, how to put things up. And some clients, they don't care, like as long as you get it done,
Right.
it's done. But some people are very particular where they want everything put back in place and they want swept and mopped a certain way. And so caregivers are very special people.
Yeah,
They have a hard job.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way. So, DJ, what kind of caregiver are you? Are you knock the job out? Are you like really kind of soft and
No.
affectionate as you do
it'd
it?
be doing it with minimal talking. That would be me. That'd be me.
Get it done, then you can talk.
Yeah.
Or not even that.
Yeah, exactly.
The taskmaster, man.
Yep.
Taskmaster, there you go.
So, all right, do you want to go into personal stuff now? Are you good with that, Emily?
Hey, whatever. Yeah.
Now, I find this very interesting, and you and I
Okay.
talked about it in our real one-to-one. So, if you don't want to go there, you don't have to. I'm never going to. But I think it's very
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
So, tell us about your heritage. I find your heritage to be interesting.
So what I know about it
Right.
is my last name is obviously German. So obviously that comes from my dad's
Yeah.
side. So Stambaugh is my maiden name, the name I was born with.
Right.
And the story goes, my grandpa on my dad's side, my grandpa and great grandpa were German and Dutch. So that's where that came from. And it's weird because both my parents are Mexican American, and
Right.
my dad was one of those people, like, he doesn't even use Stambaugh. He uses Cavazos. Because he said, I'm a Mexican American. I'm not using that German last name. I don't like it. So, and that was his deal. And so, even till his last days, he went with, instead of it being Henry C. Stambaugh, he did Henry S. Cavazos. He switched it. So
Really?
he made up his own name.
Really?
And then on my mom's side, my grandma was born in Mexico. She's from Nava, Mexico, which is a very, very small little like village type town. The closest big city to it would be Piedras Negras, which is my neck of the woods. And my mom, she was actually born in Utah because my grandparents were migrant workers. So
Right.
they would go up north a lot, and doesn't matter. I mean, it just depended where they were en route, and kids would pop out. So
Well, one of the things you told me that I found interesting, because I find all these social dynamics to always be really interesting, and you said that because your last name Emily Stambaugh, people will like not know you; they just know your name and they read you on a list, and they're thinking, okay, Emily Stambaugh, okay, regular, white girl, and then you're like, hey, I'm Emily Stambaugh, and they're like, oh, really? What? Really?
Yeah.
That happens to you a lot?
It's they definitely, they see Emily and Stambaugh, and they see, oh, she was a Baylor graduate. But wait a minute, going down the list, skills, bilingual. Well, how did that happen?
Right.
And then I show up and got this Dora the Explorer looking girl, and I'm like, hello.
I always find that funny. I always find it funny that certain names get attached to racial definitions. Like, you always make the cliche, Tyrone is a black guy name. But, I mean, really the most famous Tyrone was Tyrone Power, which was a white silent film actor. You know what I mean? He was as white as can be. So it's like people create these definitions to some degree in their head,
Yeah, I mean, my priest said one time, our society's really good at putting people in boxes.
Yeah.
And they put people in boxes and, oh, you should be here and you should be in this box. Well, me, I'm the type of person, first of all, no one can tell me what box I want to be in. I make my own box.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be my own person. But it takes a pretty strong person to have that mentality, because we can easily just say, well, I'm just going to be whatever society wants me to be. And then we're stuck figuring ourselves out, which I think we all go through it in a way.
Yeah.
We have to find ourselves.
Well, with your German last name and that whatever percentage of German heritage is still within you beyond the last name, Hoke is an Austrian German name, and probably through all the mixes of different whatever that led to me, just like whatever led to you and I probably have the same percentage of German heritage in our DNA as each other. I look one way and you look another. But we still probably have the same percentage of German heritage. What's Hunter, DJ? What is that? It's like British or something?
I have no idea.
Really?
I was getting ready to Google it.
What's Hunter?
Google it.
Although, I mean, Hunter obviously comes from hunting. So they used Hunter. But I don't know if that's like... I would guess like some sort of... well, if it has Latin roots, then it could be anything. If the word hunt has Latin roots, then it could be anything.
Yeah.
Because that was like Latin derivative languages like Spanish, French, like a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to dig deeper in my genealogy and find out, what true percentage I am of everything. That'd be pretty interesting, and then I could really find out.
Have you ever done the test, the blood DNA thing?
No, I've always wanted to. I mean, I need to, because it'd be interesting.
I want to know how accurate it is before, like, I want it proven to me that it's accurate before I do it. It's not cheap, I don't think. I don't think it's cheap to do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that cheap.
Yeah, so I need to know that it's, like, accurate before I throw out some money, something like that, man. Because I'm curious, but I'm also cheap. So.
Well, and that's
because how bad I want to know,
why I've never done it is because I'm like, I'm not spending that money on that. I'll just...
Yeah, I think it's kind of pricey. I don't know sure what it is, but I think it's a couple $100, isn't it? Something like that.
I mean, sometimes it goes on sale, like around like Father's Day or like Christmas time, and there's specials on it that I've seen.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of pricey.
So, you do the ride at home. Talked about the heritage thing, which I find interesting. So what else is Emily?
What else is Emily?
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
You got a little one that's not too. It's pretty young. Don't you have like? Am I right? Don't you have one? How old's your littlest one?
He'll be 10 months on Friday.
Oh, it's not even a year. I knew it was. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I knew it was.
No, he's a pretty little remarkable guy. Right now, Emily is a whole lot of
Hmm.
mom. Mom comes first.
Yeah.
So, which has been amazing. I mean, I never thought motherhood could be so cool. It's like a cool club that nobody told us it was so cool to be a part of.
Is that your first and only?
He is my first and only. I do
Okay.
have stepdaughters, but he's my first, my biological son.
Yeah. Well, if you have more, whatever, I'm not trying to jinx you if you do or don't, I don't know. But they just, it always, like, it's, your first one's special, but then your second one's special, and then, like, they're always, like, they're all the same. Like, I had, Jude is, I mean, well, my daughter is 21, and he's 7, so that's a 14-year gap. I mean, I thought I was done, obviously, and then he come along. But, like, I'm such a better parent now than I was the older ones because, like, when you're young, I was young, too. So they were newborns when I was young, and I didn't do a whole bunch of stuff probably right or correctly. But I don't have near the patience. The biggest difference now versus then is I can enjoy the moment, like, in the moment now.
Yeah.
Where when I was younger, my head was never... If it was a Little League game, my head was not in that Little League game. If I took him to the zoo, my head was not in the zoo. I was thinking of a million other things. Now it's like if I take Jude to the zoo, I'm thinking of the zoo,
Yeah, I think it's just trial and error. I wonder if that's how James feels, because he kind of, his baby is 8,
Yeah.
So he's kind of starting all over again. And like you say, you're just like in a different time of your life. So you just you're wiser, you're experienced, you've done this and that. Oh, that doesn't work. I've done this before. So, and then it's his only boy. So it's like, I'm pretty sure it's a totally different experience for him. For me, it's a new experience all in general, in general.
DJ, you're not a dad. And I'm not going to use the word yet. I'm just going to say you're not a dad. So, but what kind of parent you think you would be if you had kids? You're pretty patient. You're pretty patient.
Oh, patient. I got patience. I mean,
You don't rattle too easy.
nah.
That definitely
Honestly, I have
helps.
no idea.
That would help.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably be a pretty good dad. I think he'd probably be. He's got the patience thing, and that's like that's one of the biggest factors. I mean, I ain't got the best patience in the world. So if I tell him to do something and I come back around and it ain't done, the voice starts elevating and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got patience down, you'll probably be all right.
Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of it. You definitely start to learn patience. Not only with your kid, but with yourself, learning how to be a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It takes practice, I guess,
Yeah.
I'm not even a year in it yet, so.
Well, do you want more? Do you want more?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want him to be like my only, like my prince that I get to spoil and just him to focus on.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. Then I want him to have somebody to play with.
Well, I don't know if the stepkids live with y'all or not, but having other kids around do help. Even if they're not full time, it does help.
Yeah, no, he loves when his sisters come around. He loves interacting with them. He's just amazed. Like, I mean, and then they're gorgeous. They're beautiful girls. So he's probably thinking like, man, these girls are gorgeous. But I'm like, they're your sisters, buddy.
Well, Jude, I mean, obviously he's got two half siblings, and of course he's always known them to be there and whatnot. But in some ways, he's also kind of an only child because because of the age difference. It basically kind of, in a way, he has only child tendencies. But I mean, there's like he probably is spoiled. But I think that we make him do enough work that it counteracts it a little bit. I mean, if he wants something, it's not too big a deal to get it. I mean, I mean like a car, but if he wants like a toy that's $10, I mean, it ain't that big a deal, and 90% of the time he's going to get it. So he's spoiled in that respect, but we try and make him, every day you got these certain tasks you have to do. Yeah. And even if it's a school night, if you ain't done them, you can't go to bed until they're done. You know? So I think you can discipline, counteract the only child thing with discipline. At least I hope you can.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of like an only child, only because me and my sister are 9 years apart.
Yeah.
When it was only me and her and my mom, just us three.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It makes a difference. I mean, my brother was. I mean, my brother was close enough in age that. I mean, I was definitely not an only child in any respect. I always had somebody there to play with or get beat up on or whatever. So I have the only child thing I can't relate to really. You know, I'm sure there's differences, but I don't know what they are.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's at this point in the show, as your time starts to run down, what is the next big thing for Emily, or something you want to talk about that you haven't got out there yet?
The next big thing.
You can talk about side. If it doesn't make you in trouble with your boss, you can talk about your side hustle. We don't care.
I'm full of side hustles. I mean, I sell like jewelry on the side. It started out like a hobby, and it's still kind of a hobby, but I do have a team of like 18 ladies under me, so that's pretty cool. I don't think it's gonna like go anywhere, but it could. I mean, it's just like a hobby, and it's fun doing it. So I try to push my team and still like lead by example, but I also want to focus on right at home as well. Because I love this job. I'm not just saying that because I'm here, but I really do. I love what I do. Thankfully, I was able to get into this industry back in 2017. So I'm about 3 years in this industry, and you didn't get to hear why I love this industry so much, but DJ did, and it's mostly primarily because of my grandparents. I took care of my grandpa when he was on hospice.
Oh.
And my grandparents were my world. I mean, they're my everything. So one of the reasons why I feel like this industry is a perfect blend of everything I've done, experience and work-wise and volunteer-wise. And I can actually utilize my degree. Like, my degree's not going to waste. And my degree's in health sciences, so I get to use that every day. So that's why I love it so much. And then as far as other things, I have some projects, I guess you can say, I'm working on. But I'm gonna move in silence for a little bit until I've worked on it a little bit longer to announce it. But a few close friends might know a little bit about what I'm talking about. My family might figure it out, but just some big projects I'm working on, and just to improve myself and just to be able to provide for my family a little bit better. So.
Did anybody just get a weird pop-up from Zoom? Just now?
Yeah, I did. I just closed it.
All right, I make sure it wasn't just me. I was like, what is this stuff? Well, God bless you. I mean, what you guys do is I mean, how much more noble does it get that take care of people? I mean, that's the basis. I mean, that's the basics of life right there. I mean, it's helping others and taking care of people.
Yeah. It is a touchy-feely business, so it takes special people to be able to accomplish that. And so I'm just blessed enough to have a team of people who they go above and beyond, and not because they're just good at what they do, and because they actually genuinely care, they go above and beyond, and that's what makes our team so great. Just everyone does their part, so we all get to paddle 200 miles per hour, but all of us are paddling, and we all have the same goal in mind. And anytime you have a team with the focused goal, great things happen for any industry, for any business. So our team is just solid, and I can brag about our team all day, every day, because being from the outside in, this is my third team that I've worked with, and so far it's the best.
Right. Right. Well, ain't much you can add on to that. Taking care of people with the best team, right?
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. All right. Well, you just keep doing what you do. You do it well, and we'll support you. And we'll all get out of this COVID mess, and we'll do even more helping.
That sounds wonderful. Likewise.
Right
Social
on.
Media Cowboys is where it's at.
Right on, man. Right on. All right, everybody. We'll see y'all.
See ya.